Reviewing teaching material can come across as boring to students. It's so important to be able to get that practice in, that review in, some repetition practice in there, but to students, that's like, why? And they just start yawning, or the cameras turn off, or they stay on mute in their classroom. So, how do we make this fun? We can do that by teaching with games. So, gamifying any subject, any age level will really help increase engagement and motivation to participate, actively participate in your classroom, and help them retain their information they're learning because they're actively participating, answering questions. So, we are going to dive into 3 games that you can use in any subject, any lesson that will motivate your students, engage your students, and make your classroom super fun. Game number 1 is a board game. I love this classic board game because it can be used as any subject. Students are already familiar with how to play it. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive into a board game, what that looks like, teaching with it, and information you can be using to gamify your lesson. All right, here is our board game, classic board game. There are a couple things you're going to need to gamify and teach with a board game. First is the board, and this is created just in Canva, and then you're going to need some characters to move on your board. And I like to pick characters based on like the theme of the board. This has a soccer themed. I had a student who was really into soccer, played every weekend at games and tournaments. So I created this soccer filled board game for her in my tutoring classes. And then we had this one, or you can always have students pick from their favorite animal, and that's the character that you can move on the board. You'll also need dice. I just search Google dice, and this is the best dice I have come across. There are a couple different options we can pick from to roll the dice, and it is ad free. I have no ads on my screen. That way, when I'm sharing my screen with my students, all they're going to see is the dice. And then the next thing you're going to need is your question slides. Now, your question slides are what you are teaching or what you are reviewing. And I really dive into this in last week's video where I talk about how to take your current lesson and gamify it. What kind of information goes good, works well with games, and and how to take that information from your current lessons. We're not building a brand new lesson. Your current lesson, how can we put this game into your current lesson? So here's how, just kind of quickly, we'll play it in class. And I have a couple different examples of questions that hopefully will get your juices flowing on how you can use this in your own class. I pick each student will have a character. I use this for my tutoring students, so there are only 2 of us. We have the question that we are learning or reviewing or helping teaching on slides right after the board game. So for this one, 3 times 8, I'm teaching how to use equal groups to solve this problem. So I have 3 groups, and we have 8 apples in each group. So I'll drag those apples over, and we'll solve the problem, work through it together. After we've worked through, solved, completed this question, now we're ready to go back to our game and take a turn. So I'm going to roll the dice for myself and for my student. So I got 5, and my student has 3. So I will move 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My student got 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. And then always your students feed off your energy. So you're excited about this, about the game, who's winning. Oh, are you going to win? I'm so close to winning. I don't know what's going to happen. Your students will be super into this as well. Even more so because the game itself is fun and motivating, but your energy brings a lot to it as well. So make a big deal about it. Who's winning? You're beating me. Oh, the teacher's going to win. Have fun with it. After you guys move, then you're good to go to your next question. So this question, describe the setting in the book Charlotte's Web. So this one is a good question for getting your students to discuss and talk about the book and what they think the setting is. And your students, this can be a group effort to describe this setting. See how many adjectives they can use to describe it. Really give the detail. They can work together to answer this question. Once they've answered, then you go back to the game and roll the dice. So I have 4. My student has also 4. Wow, we're on the same spot. So then I'll move again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're at the exact same spot. Okay, we have one more question. Who's gonna win? So go through as many questions as you can. This can take the whole class time, or if you know 10 minutes you're reviewing, have it take 10 minutes. Really flexible with this game. So here we have some language. So Spanish word for pineapple. What is that word? Can we use it in a sentence? So we'll answer it and then we go back to the board game. So it's super fun and it gets all the students engaged, ready to participate because they want to see what's going to happen next with that roll of the dice. Game number 2 is unfair game. So this game is in Google Slides and is super fun because it is unfair. So this one, there we go. This game is in my TPT store. If you want this edible template, this one for my example is division. But if you want edible templates, you're able to put in your own questions. Go to my TPT store, links down in the description. So this game, I have questions behind each of these numbers. So my students will honestly like to play students versus teachers. So all the students are trying to beat me. So they're going to pick a question, any number they want, and that's the question they're going to answer. And again, you can be individual, have students type it in the chat box, so they're all working together to solve this answer. So all my students are going to shout out this answer, and then we'll check it. And then they have points, and this is where the unfair part comes in. So the points tagged along here, I have no idea what they are. The students don't know what they are, but they need to decide whether or not they're going to keep them for themselves or they can give them to me. And I keep track of points throughout the game. So let's say the students are going to decide to keep the points for themselves. So then we kind of like drum roll. What's the answer? How many points do you get? And then we reveal it. Oh, that is unfair. That stinks that they kept -7 points. But they had no idea what the points were. So it was totally unfair. And we make a big deal about it, make it fun. Oh, that's so unfair. And then you go to the next question and you just repeat the process. They answer the question, reteach as you need to. Points. Okay, what are you going to do with these points? Maybe they're going to decide to give them to me. They are so hurt by the -7 points. They're like, you have these points, teacher. And then we'll reveal them. Super unfair. I get 7 points. I'm grateful. But the students are like, no, we could have had them. So this game's super, super fun. The unfair game. And then our last game is actually a game site. This game site is called Blooket. I'll do a rundown here, but I do have a more in-depth tutorial on Blooket, how to set it up, create your own questions, navigate the whole site. I'll link it here if you're going to try Blooket. So here, Blooket, you can discover question sets that other teachers have created. See if there's one that fits your class already, or you can create your own questions to really be tailored to your class. So this one, we'll just host a game. There are several different game options for students to play. So I will give students a couple options, explain the game. It tells you what the game is about here, how to play, and then let them pick. And then you host it and students join via link. So you can set the time here, how long you want to play. So if it's just a quick review game, I highly recommend this game for reviewing type questions because it's It's best played as a faster pace. Students should really know the information and are in that practice state. And then your students will join via code. So you'll copy that link for them, put it in the chat box, and all they have to do is click on the link and you'll see their names pop up here. Just do that real quick. There we go. And then the students, they can pick their own character. And then the teacher, you'll see all their names here. And then you'll click that start button. And then it'll always give you some more details on it. We'll skip that. So as a teacher, you can see the leaderboard, who has how much points. And over here, you'll see kind of the activity based on the game that's happening. This game, who stole what gold from who earned gold, who swapped gold with another player. They're all playing with each other. So they'll answer the question and then pick an answer. They'll choose their test, different on every game. Ooh, I got 50 gold. Awesome. And then some of those are like swap with another player. So it makes these games are really fun because they're up to chance. It's not just the fastest person always winning. Anyone is up to chance on who can win this game, any Blooket game. It's a student favorite. My students really love this game. Games have made the biggest difference in my classroom, where I've had some students sign themselves up for classes because they love learning with games. And these are math classes, by the way. So they want more math classes because they're having fun with games. I know these 3 games are going to do the exact same for your classroom. We're going to make them fun and engaging, and your students are going to be participating. And I'm so excited to come back. So I would love to hear, comment below which game you're going to try first in your lesson. Be sure to watch next week's video where I will show you how to create your own board game. Customize it to your class to fit your students and be able to teach with that board game across several classes. It's not just one class specific. We want to do the work, put it in once, and spread it across several classes. So be sure to watch that video next so you can create your own board game, wow your students, and reap the benefits of gamifying your classroom and watch your students just go, wow, so cool. See you in the next video.